Here's Charlie.
Hi, Charlie. I know you can't hear me, but hi, buddy.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi, Sky. That's Sky next to him, isn't it?
Yes, yes. He's just gonna see feathers around his face. He's happy on his feet. Okay.
Hi, April Lynn.
Hi, April Lynn. We're going to be talking about a big topic today. And again, for those that are here, do Wayne Cook. I'm not going to do it with him just yet. I have to show a live experience. Oh, we're going to talk about it. What?
She was meowing at me because I picked her up.
Okay, I'm going to have to turn these down. They're super loud. Okay, we got kitty cats.
She's mad at me.
So again, while I'm sitting here, while we're waiting for others, just start to assess just assess me. Just assess me and feel what I'm feeling, or just kind of do your best to say, oh, I want to learn how to read somebody. And let's see how well you do. And you can leave it into the chat comments. Well, your kitty looks happy. I know Nikki's gonna be watching, so just know that Nikki just assess me. I wait for people to come in. I recorded just a little bit early. You just remember, you do not have to show yourself. You don't have to show your video. You don't have to communicate. As far as voice, you can write down in chat. You communicate. I just record me, not you, unless I ask permission. And here is the group that's about tribal. This is not about old-fashioned first chakra tribal, which is about everybody has to follow the rules per se, or the traditions, or the limitations or restrictions that can be found within a one leader tribal. What's different about this is that I want all of you to find you, to be empowered to be you. But at the same time, there is a set of value rules as we come together in a space. We do not come together in this space in the Venn, BEN, deference, or the Victus Pisces. That is the energy that overlays layers. Here's me, here's you, and we overlay, and we have that in between energy where we share, which I refer to as scalar energies. These energies that cross, you will start noticing your social interactions, your social, what did you learn, how to be social, will come into play. And then there's gameplays that people do, so that if they have, if they want the upper hand, then they will, people have gaslight, gameplay, want to be alpha. Here is none of that, okay? I want you to sit in the energy field that I'm in. It's not forced upon you. It is there in my shared field. that you can be on the seventh plane with me with this vibration. And it's a higher frequency. And what it is that it moves you into discernment versus judgment. Now, again, I don't want you to be friends with anybody. I don't have to be friends with anybody. I want you to find you. That's loud. Your how do you shut that off? Not sure how to shut those off. So you're going to notice, that, like I said, you do not have to, I want you to play nice. I want you to notice if you're judging somebody in the panel, you need to go heal your shit because it's your filters. If you are sitting there and you don't like their energy, even though it could possibly be their energy they're putting out, you still have to feel how you show up, how you have interpreted, how you. So we're asking you to heal it. Now, how do you heal it? We have a lot of tools. Okay. But you will come here. You're going to learn how to become a tribal member that comes in as a higher self. You're finding your authentic self to connect with that authenticity, which is more of a heart-brain coherence, so that you are unlearning your social skills that you've learned when you were little. And yet, at the same time, you are observing and looking through catalogs of life about how other people have learned to communicate socially. That's a healthier communication. So we had in the past, which I had a nip in the bud, was people that would be so nicey to the person, but then they would talk and be two-faced and talk bad about them. I don't allow that. You're going to do it on your own time, but when it starts to disrupt, where all of a sudden you're taking clicks and you're trying to win people over, and that needs to be nipped in the bud. Because you come here to wake up from the matrix. You come here to get back to joy, because you're hardwired for joy, not suffering. You are returning back to love, which is what you know. You have to go through all of these filters, these personalities, these programs, these patterns that say this is less than love and this is what I identify with. Now, we want you to understand, we don't want you to identify with that anymore unless you want to. But you are losing life force. Okay. Oh. So while you're here, just start assessing my energy field and what you get. What do you get? What do you feel? Because this is important. I could go into full-blown teaching mode, but at the same time, there's an incident that occurred in my life that I feel we have to address, which is everybody's gone through it in some way or some form. And so I'm going to get to the rawness of this so that we can start helping the body not hold certain patterns. April says, my experience at work, visualizing my little beside me, and we discussed awareness of others' behaviors and made the choice not to participate in that belief today. Oh, excellent. Hopefully you got some good result. It's this awareness of what you're choosing, awareness of this, where you're placing your energies. How far will you go? Because you do not have to follow fear to the end of the timeline and go to the same conclusion, causing more anxiety, more stress than it needs to. It's like making mountains out of molehills. You don't have to. You can feel it. Like right now, the incident that has occurred, I can feel it. I could run with it with scissors, which means I could just go all over the place with these emotions. I can jump to all kinds of conclusions. But you have to come to the finality that something that I'm going to be talking about in a few minutes is what it is. So kind of give it away, didn't I, a little bit as far as what's going on with my energy field. Otherwise, did you even know anything was going on? So thank you very much for welcoming me home. It's taken me a full week to actually recover. Yesterday was the first time to come online, you know. I have been off ever since the beginning of this trip, or actually when we landed in Bali. And if you watch the 2 other episodes, you'll see why. But this is different than that. I have processed that out. But the energy on this planet, I don't know if anybody else is feeling it, and I don't know if it's just hitting in waves to certain frequencies. And it could just be there's all these what ifs. I'm up in a plane, you become ungrounded, you are into a different energy field. Bali is different than Australia. I've been having a heck of a time keeping my central meridian up, and my main pole does not want to stay. I thought I shut that off. Oh. And so stress looks different. Yeah, I feel stressful. I process it different. I feel it different. So let's begin there. As you look at me, you may not notice, but it's the feeling of the energy field. And I'm doing my best to contain it within my own bubble, meaning I don't want to bleed out everywhere. With that, I also don't want in the vast Venn deference, the Victus Pisces, there's this thing where, oh, I want attention, oh, I need to be approved, or oh, I need support, or oh, this. But for however you look at it, what do you usually notice from people when they're stressed? You should break that down. When I see people stressed, they usually will be out here and their energy will just fly all over the place. It could be with the sound of a voice. It could be physically disturbing. They're stressed, they're confused, they're trying to solve it, or they just have somebody listen, because we don't want to forget that part of the process, because a lot of people listen and give answers. Sometimes you just need to talk. And sometimes you just need someone to go, okay, not give the answer, but to just listen or give some sort of support. Some people live on drama and trauma, and that's different than life happens where trauma and drama happen. Okay. We create certain experiences to be present. I've been working on my gallbladder meridian for eons because I lost my gallbladder. They cut it out. It died from inside out. Now, there's always a story with it. And I'm like, couldn't put my finger on it, no matter how many times I've looked at different angles. Sometimes you have to wait for the moment to happen so you can feel that peak of feelings, the sense of how the physiology goes into a process, how the mind creates all kinds of thoughts. Then you get to see how your personality handles it with noise. with other people or to deal with it? How do you? So when we are off the center of love, interesting, Lucia. Ooh, that is interesting. Okay.
Bali, Bali, that I understand, Brenda, is a hub of energy. So the porthole holds itself in Bali. That's why a lot of people are attracted there. And a lot of us that go back there, collecting aspects, if you will, if we want to put it that type of word, fragments. But any stuff that's unresolved will be pushed to the surface. You have almost zero. It's not voluntarily. It's sort of, it just happens. You know, whatever's sitting underneath, pushes itself to the forefront, and it's a really beautiful opportunity to see what hasn't been resolved. And because, you know, when we're in the position of, like yourself, in a teaching position where, and every day we're working, we can have a status of it and a resonance of it. But then when we sort of go somewhere different where it's got a different type of porthole, it will push that last bit out or another bit out that you don't know that was there, you know, connected to an ancient aspect of self. And so that's my understanding of what, there's a few places in the world that has that. Ones that I do know off the top of my head is Wellington in New Zealand. Hawaii will do it for you for sure. The middle of Australia will do it. Tasmania will do it. There's certain hubs, and obviously there's many more, but there's certain hubs of these portholes that will, those that are already awakened, when they go, they meet another aspect of self that have to be integrated. That's
yes.
I hope that helps.
Oh, it does. It does. Yes, it does. It does. That is for people that understand on a deeper level why these little things would occur. We call life. So, for me, like I said, in the body, all the meridians are named after the organs, except for two. They are our meridian and a vessel. So it's a protection shield that helps with your orb. So this first part is the central governing, or central, so it comes from the perineum up to the top. And this, when this is down, you can feel exposed. If somebody were to look you down, it would unzip it, because this is our, where we carry a lot of, I can't protect myself, I have no boundaries. I feel the world, I don't know how to feel the world, I'm overwhelmed. And so the other one is the governing. So it comes from the perineum up the spine to here. And then these lock together to start to create this egg of protection. And they literally have a line with acupuncture points right in the middle. But those two work together to protect. And I didn't plan Bali. It was planned for me. This isn't about blaming. This is about understanding that the universe will set you up so that you can experience what you need to experience. So what is an experience? It's sensations. It's sensory participation. It is emotions. It's these feels. It is wow, pictures. It is to move you to like, oh, what a beautiful sunrise, to, oh, that was a crappy, you know, the interfacing with other people's energy fields. Okay. So an experience is why you're here. One reason is that because we put on the mental body and the emotional body when we get here. And so I didn't choose to go to Bali per se. I was asked, do you want to go to Bali? And I said, Oh, yeah, I haven't been there. And then it was forced upon us when, and the tickets are bought, plane. It's like, but you understand that I'm American, which means I have to have all these other things. And if any of them mess up, I'm going to get screwed over. I have to make sure my passport is identical to this with my visa. And then I have to make sure I have a visa to get back in. And I have to have everything. I can't have the airline mess up. They had it all messed up because they had to make sure they push us to get what they wanted. And so that was the first energy, to be pushed into something where there's no return. And I'm like, okay, so in ego terms, that's one. In spirituality, whoa, I've seen this before. There's some more I got to heal on it. Now, what happened today? So, then we get to Bali when somebody says to you, oh, let's go on vacation together. Normally, that to me, this is my definition, this is where I'm taking responsibility, was that leading up, that 6 months leading up to it was, let's bond, let's get to know each other. So when we get there, we can, do things like get our nails done, which I've never done before. And I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah, we got two different set of values, which means I live a certain way, they live a certain way. Neither's right, neither's wrong. It's just who we are. But I've learned to not really compromise as much as I'm willing to learn the spirit has this person here for a particular reason. I'm willing to learn. And we get to Bali. Now, all right, let's get onto the airplane. Oh, well, let me fill everything out. Okay. Again, every email was sent to their place, not to me. So I had no control over the hotel or the airport. And I'm like, okay, this is me learning that I don't have to have control of things. And I'm patient. Then we get there, and then they said, don't bring anything, we'll buy because it's cheaper, right? So they get a cab, they take us to 45 minutes out of our way from our hotel. Now, the weird part is the energy was set. I didn't memorize the address or the name of the hotel, neither did Alan. We didn't do what we normally are. People will set energy in motion for their agenda, and you will feel it. You won't be aware of it, but if you begin to understand spiritually about it, you will notice how you have a personality with that, how you show up, how they want you to show up. Now, this is complicated, but the more you heal, the more you see it. And I didn't see it until after we were left behind in the mall with no contact, no phone. We're very completely vulnerable. And they left the premises to go to the beach, and they said, oh, I didn't leave. Their excuse. And I'm like, oh my God. Prior to that, see, they're all trauma and drama. So I didn't want to play that. That's just not who I am. So when she was telling me this, how people talk. I go back to my room. We have a water leak and the air conditioning wasn't working. And I'm like, oh, this is trauma or drama. Thank you, Spirit. I turned to the resolving energy. I said, it is done. So Spirit goes, okay, pick up dial 0. Oh, look, there's a man outside. Just ask him. And it was taken care of. Nothing. My drama was done. Now, I didn't really need to talk about it, but it did get brought up. And so I said, yeah, and I had a fast turnaround time. And the look on their face, like I had said something completely wrong. I'm like, okay. And then all of this, they left us, they're vulnerable. Now the caddy that brought us saw us and they go, oh, I'll take you home. And he was going to come back for them. But then that they thought that we pinched their cab, that we're being evil, we're being mean. And so they chose not to pay what they promised. See, these people are all about promise, but they're not the promise keepers. They don't follow through. Oh, we're going to have such a good time. Hey, it's your birthday. Let's take you out. And then they never show up. And so, when people make promises, make you feel good, and then they never, see, I'm aware of that, right? So what they say, I usually just, not going to fall for it. And they made I became their drama. I'm like, shit. I don't want drama, but I just became her drama. Okay. And then, she just basically said, what do you want from me? And I said, I just basically realized then and there, she did not want to spend any time with us. So we didn't spend any time. They never asked. We don't know Bali. We didn't really plan. She says we got all the sunscreen. You don't need to buy it. We have these great plans. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So this is what I want you to understand. I worked through all that, but I want to work on my gallbladder, right? I know that I want my body to function. Today, so I have this Remarkable, which is like a computer flat piece. Amy can show you if you can see her, but anyways, it's this flat piece, like you write on it and it stores information. And I use it for everything. I used it on the plane over there. I used it on the plane back. Now I looked and looked and looked. I swear it was in my bag. Now I have been out of it energetically. I cannot keep my poles straight. I've been falling asleep, and I kept thinking. So she's got it right there. I kept falling asleep. I'm like, what? Okay, it could be jet lag. I mean, it's taken me and my husband up until yesterday to get fully recovered. So I went to look for it yesterday for the show. It's not here. I went to look for it today. Now I meticulously went through each room and X'd it out. No, it's not here. It's not here. Not here. I left it on the airplane. Now I go ahead and I'm looking how to get through to the airplane, and they're not responsible for lost items. Well, fair enough. But I spent 3 phone calls where they'll take me, I finally get through. And then they say, oh, technical difficulty. So they are not going to answer. I don't even think they do lost items. I think they just pocket it, do whatever they want with it. So now what I'm going to tell you is this. Okay, you ready? Have you ever lost something or somebody and you feel this panic or this anxiety? And you're like, I don't want it to be true. And then you're constantly looking. Well, maybe it's there. Now, I want you to get into this frame of mind if you still have stuff to heal. Because they're showing me the rawness. Now, I have lost things in a fire. I have lost things through divorce. I have lost things because we moved. I've lost things. But when you have an energy field that has created an identity with it, so like say my phone, okay, I have bonded with an inanimate object. Doesn't matter though. It could be a person. But I bonded with it. This is part of my identity. So it's called an attachment. Now, this is where you don't want things to own you, where you want to own things. Do you understand that statement? So I noticed that I want to have a heartbreak. And yet I'm not going to allow myself to let fear be my master. No. Thank you, Spirit, for it is lost to help me heal this. Now, I'm kind of walking around kind of numb, but I'm still refusing to let fear make me do the worst case scenarios. How many of you are still doing the old programs where you jump to conclusions? Just think about it for a minute. They can't hear you. You want to talk? Okay. Yeah, watch him freeze up like a little statue. So, oh, do you see the camera? Are you aware of the camera? That's Charlie and Sky. Say hello. Hello. Hello, Charlie. You gonna wave at the people? Hello. You gonna try to scare Mama? What's that? You see how he scares me and he laughs about it? Now, if I don't do it right, he'll keep trying to scare me until I give him the appropriate fright sound. And then he'll laugh about it. That's his girlfriend. Look at that.
Brenda,
Oh,
there's a
good Lord.
key there.
A what?
There's a key there. You said Charlie will keep going until he gets a response.
Yes.
Fear will keep coming or being there and as long as there's a response. When there's no
Oh
response,
my God, that's gorgeous. Oh, you be quiet over there.
thank you, Charlie.
Which is, yeah, thank you. Okay, I need to write that down. All right, I got to get the volume back because these birds are loud. Yes, Charlie. Mama loves you. Oh, did you guys hear that? Or because I just noticed that I'm still hearing it with my thing. Did you hear him scream? If not, I can take these out.
Very lightly.
Okay, let's
we
do it
aren't
again.
hearing full volume, no.
All right, let's do it again. Sorry, you trying to scare Mama? What? Like I said, you have to wait until he's ready. Hello? You trying to scare Mama? Well, how do you do it? No? Okay. What's that? You scare Mama. Go ahead, show. No? Really?
You scare him, Brenda.
Oh, now he's not going to do it. He knows the camera's on him.
Hello, Charlie.
frozen.
You not going to play? What's that? Scare Mama.
Boo.
Yeah, you do. You scare Mama. I have to tell you, there's a little mouse shoe right there. And I've been noticing ever since I got home little mice, and mice are about details. So I'm supposed to pay attention to details, and they're baby mice. So you scare mama. Smartass. I love him. Daddy. Uh, you
When he
coming
does
back?
that.
You laugh? You laugh at mama? Hello. I'm playing. Yes, I'm playing. Even when I'm playing. No? Okay. Enough of you. Say goodbye. Okay. Yes. So fear is going to, as long as I keep giving it a response. Now, here's an interesting thing. When you're not awake and you're just awaking, you won't even notice. Whoops. There. So you won't even notice that you've run to the end of to your end of your timeline, which means you run with fear, you go into high beta, meaning your brain wave beta, this is this, and then goes into high beta. Will stress. Stop it. Quit laughing at me. It really wants your attention now. Okay. Mom's gonna find a new spot. All right. So you people that haven't done this for years, don't feel bad. We're looking at detail here. That's what the mice are about. Detail. But once you see that you're doing it, you have a choice then. And people say, well, no, you can't. I'm stressed. I'm emotion. I'm just a, but this is where the tools come in. And watch how many times you'll get into that space and you're like, I don't want to use the tools. I don't want to use the tools. Why is that? So why is that? Anybody can answer?
It's because your little doesn't want to let go of that particular outcome.
Yes. Did you everybody hear that last part? It doesn't want to let go of that particular outcome. What was the question? Remember what the question is, Amy? Why don't we let go of?
Why don't we let go of certain emotions and certain things in our life? It's
Why
because,
don't we use the tools? Was the question.
Yeah, why
yeah,
don't you use
why
the
don't we use
tools?
the tools?
Yeah.
Because the littles don't want to let go of that particular outcome.
And we actually identify with every little moment. So for me, I would be identifying with the loss. So again, we identify, we become attached. Do you hear him? Good Lord. Might have to get him a snack. Oh my God. Eddie, yes.
So I would like to add that I think the one reason, because I've I've been through this where I get to the point where I recognize and I have an awareness of the program or the response. And then I find myself like sitting there and pouting and like not choosing to use the tool sometimes. And I think it's because I heard someone say this one time, it makes a lot of sense. Please excuse my 2-year-old. They talked about how like these programs, they're run by the ego. The ego's job is to protect you. And just like any other, like everybody in the spiritual community talks about like, you know, I had an ego death, right?
Yeah.
And that's not something that happens once. Like different parts of us have to die and pass away and then be reborn so we can rise like the phoenix. But part of that means that our ego has to be transformed. And like, just like whenever if you're taking like some sort of herbal cleanse or something for parasites, they don't want to die. So the first thing
No.
that they're going to do is they're going to lay eggs. That way they can survive. It's a survival thing. So your ego doesn't want to die. Your ego is just like any other part of you. Your ego's job is to keep you from, I guess, dying, right? So even though it's a different kind of death and it's a good kind of death, your ego doesn't want to die. So of course your ego is going to tell you that's not going to work. Those tools aren't going to work, or that's not what I'm doing. You'll be in denial. The ego doesn't want to die. Like that's that part of you. It doesn't want to die. It doesn't want to pass away. So it'll argue with you. It'll have parts arguing, as you say, to try to keep itself alive.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Now, she said a lot of juicy stuff. We want to transform, we want to integrate. But this is where we need to understand about the ego. So let me just see if this thing is working. If not, it's okay. Hold on. Why? But she's right. There's all of these things. You need to start to differentiate. There we go. So we want to ask what, oh, Jesus, it's so bright you can't see. Oh, that sucks. Ah! Okay, that's not going to work.
Brenda, write the ones and see if we can see the writing.
Well, this is how dark it would be, but you can't even see ego.
Oh, no, you can't even see ego.
And if I say ego, you're not going to see it.
No.
Okay, got to fix that. So at the same time, we're learning. We're learning.
When there's a bright light, the ego is not seen.
Oh, my God, you're beautiful. You are beautiful. Yes.
Oh, it was just there, you know, it's like, well, there's so much light, but we can't see anything on it. So, yeah.
Exactly. Okay, and this is what's, you be quiet. Oh. Ellen, can you bring out a snack? Okay, it's gonna constantly get your attention. Your 41 thoughts can be very loud. Oh my God. You stop it. So this is also working out why I will not do my show here because of that and that issue. So these aren't traumas and dramas. These are details of living. And so you're learning not to adapt and sacrifice, but it is, I've never been here before. I'm going to learn these steps. It wasn't about failure. It's about fine-tuning, fine-tuning. Now you're just mocking me. Okay, like turn me now. The sun is coming down directly onto it. I thought I had to get a spot, so I may have to swap some spaces around. Little turd, isn't it? You can see what you're doing. Oh my God. So it fear, trauma, dramas, the things that are external, your environment, and I'm going to tell you this, your environment changes your DNA. Your DNA is not set in stone. They have been proven, and it still hasn't caught up in all of the scientific community, but the DNA has been changed by your environment. Emotions, events, comments, dramas, what you think, what you feel, starts to shape you into the form that you're in with the diseases or the problems that you have. Why do I want to learn about my gallbladder? Because I'd like it to function, right? Even though I don't have one, it still is a meridian. So the environment is going to get your attention. It's going to get your attention. I used and loved that remarkable. I'm in a timeline right now that is said it doesn't exist, or I can't see it, or I've lost it. It doesn't mean it's a particular outcome where it's going to be gone forever. It could be. It's like Schrodinger's cat, where they put the cat in the box with some radium, and it gets radium, whatever, some lethal stuff. And so the question is when you open the box, will the cat be dead or the cat be alive? So when you're in the making of the next step forward, are you going to vision your reality with thinking and feeling that it's gone forever? Or can you be open to a higher consciousness to get information to help you understand? Because there's wisdom. You're looking for the wisdom in no matter what situation. But most people will, and the wisdom is usually in the middle. Most people will get stuck in the three seesaw, which is, it doesn't matter what's happening. It'll go from one extreme to the other. The wisdom is also hidden in the epi, which is the emotional chemical peptide that sits on it. And when you start to use tools to dissolve the emotional peptides, then the wisdom is released. If you're awake enough to see it, you'll start to grow and rise like the phoenix. But if you have not trained yourself to see it, then you can reseed, you can reroot it, you can regrow it. But you got to make a choice. Do you want out of that? And all I can say is, now most of you have heard this. I love you too. Probably heard that too as a kid. I love you, but be quiet. See, nothing is working correctly, but I'm not running to the end of my timeline and exploding. You know, get where losing my shit. And you can feel it build and rise if you wanted to. Like, I don't know where Alan went. I could get up and go get it. But he's getting my attention for a reason. And I want to tell you this. In the book of the Red Light, there is this particular way of written to help you understand that this immortal being decides it wants to see if it can use magic or the ability to make something that's stone come to life. So every day, same time, routine, put the energy into the field, put the energy into the field. And finally the statue moves. Whoa, all right, I'm doing it. Yeah, let's do it some more. The more the immortal being, the one that can't die, put his will into the statue, the statue came alive. This is what you do. You put your will into, like, I've lost my remarkable. Now my will is in how I remembered, how I lost something, how it hurt, how it felt devastated, how I feel like I gotta find it. I can't be whole. So this timeline is open, so it's an unresolved continued story. Okay, I understand, little mouse. You're gonna be more detail. And it's waiting to be closed. Okay, this Akashic record is waiting to be closed. You're saying, I'm done with that story, done with that project, done with that book. But your life force is there. You understand? Your life force is there. So this immortal being that cannot die had given all his life force to getting the statue to come alive and to operate. So it can function just like him or her or the person. This immortal being, it got too much. The point he was on his last breath, he was ready to die. He can't die, but in his mind, he is convinced, oh my God, the outside is way too freaking much. This statue, which we call the ego persona, the false persona, we make things come alive by the way we think, the way we feel, the way we use our will. He's on his last breath, ready to die until he realizes, oh, duh, I got to stop putting my will into it. I got to stop giving it my life force. I got to stop stop over identifying matter. So ego is EG, electromagnetic guiding omni apparition, taking something and making it alive, taking something and making it real. And the ego is just a lens. You are spirit first. You're looking through the lens, and you can see all the codes, you can experience the experiences, but it's when you all of a sudden go, oh my God. And the amount of emotion, thinking, feeling, sensory, and the way you focus one thought onto another, you fire. You are laying tracks. So how many times have you gotten into a mood, a bad mood? 2 hours later, you're still in a bad mood. What's wrong? I'm pissed off with what they did. How long ago was it? A week later. You're still in a bad mood? Yeah, it still pisses me off. How long did it take? A week ago. And you start treating a temperament. Your personality starts to really form. 6 months down the road to a year, you are now have quick responses or a resting bitch face. The body starts to form. Your world forms around what you sow. So every time you think it's electrical, it's telling the universe, like Amazon, I'd like to order that. Because now I'm emotional and I'm really getting into it and I don't know how to control my thinking and my feelings. And fear, when fear comes, and if you try to get a handle on it, you'll try to cope, handle, deal, pacify, manage, but it won't work. It won't work. Because it's an Akashic record that's wide open. It has not been resolved. You've already given your life force. Now you're starting to go into spiritual debt. Okay? So your job is to wake up and say, hold on, I got to stop over-identifying with matter. I got to take this mask off. And I got to learn how to resolve to evolve. I need to heal instead of deal. I really got to become in charge as that spiritual being. You with me so far? So the ego is this false persona. It's when we get, oh my God, we put on the ego, the lens, and we become that story and the emotion. And then your 41 thoughts that you have per minute, if it's all about that topic, and you add fear with it, now you could add love to it. You're going to get two different results. But you get to choose the emotion because you have an emotional body. So you get to choose the mental process, the words, the belief systems, the values, what's important to you, because you have a mental body. That's what you get when you come here. You start addressing. So as your spirit, and you're beaming yourself through the spiritual portal into your mama, into whoever female is willing to be an open vessel, you are a spirit that's formed into a body. You don't just have a body and your spirit that has a body. Don't separate it. You are formed, or consciousness begins to be formed. You make a body. Now, we've been to this rodeo, past life, we have limits. So our soul contract starts to create all of these stories out of play. Boom, prepared. Now your soul is saying, I need to find out why it's taken me 10 lifetimes. I'm working on this one subject. What the heck am I missing? And usually it'll boil down to the feeling, the experience. the emotions, the values, the beliefs. And you need to undo it. The only way you really can undo it is by moving the emotion. So I know this a lot. I know this is a lot, so I'm gonna just stop right there. Just for a second. And he says, I also just like in parasite study, they release toxins into your bloodstream and you can make you sick. It's the same thing with emotional chemical peptide. It's called a chemical peptide dump. That is the emotion. Anger has poison. And this is why they say you should forgive, not for them, but for yourself. Because anger is like, I'm going to drink the poison and hope you die. Okay. See. If you don't take binders, your ego programs don't want to die. And see, this is where your personalities, and this is for those who siblings, you can watch the movie Snow, 27 different personalities. And if they were trying to integrate them, they all felt strong. I'm alive, I'm alive, each of those personalities. And they thought, oh my God, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. But your job as a spiritual being is to get the wisdom so that integration and unity happens. Because this is the time we get to integrate. This is time to unity, yin and yang working together. So once you start to use certain wisdom, you will take certain personalities that thought that they're going to die. If you keep feeling that you think they're going to die, or that that bad thing is going to hurt you forever, integration is the process. This is why you just can't. I'm gonna. Yep. I'm not gonna let that affect me. I'm gonna suppress it. I'm gonna overcome it. I'm gonna try this, a new attitude. Yeah, that didn't work. I tried this. No, that didn't work. Okay. No, this is why you have to. This is why working the tools that I teach is about working with your innate wisdom. And your innate wisdom is what puts you together. But when you work with it, you're electromagnetic, you're intentionally choosing as a spirit being to address the emotion and the mental. And you're hitting the top surface. And then you'll work on layer and layer and layer until you start to realize, oh my God, I don't have to do it anymore. It doesn't clear it. The wisdom, it just makes sense. You may not be able to explain it, but you will on a higher part of it. Be transformed. So when you first start changing and using the tools, you can experience a spiritual herxing. Now, the herxing is a healing issue, a healing crisis. And back in the day when people would take herbs, they like, oh my God, no, I can't do that because it makes me sick. I'd rather have my disease. No, the herxing is very important because this is your choice to come together with yourself if you're willing to keep changing. The effort you put into it. If your belief system's out of whack, what's going on? You've got to decide how you want to change. And sometimes you can create a herxing, that healing crisis. Like I knew something happened in Bali, even though we had a great time, me and my husband did our best. There was a lot of stuff that occurred. And you have to honor yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Okay. And that means if somebody's, you got to do this, you have the right to say no without having to give anybody a reason. You have to just breathe sometimes and just be you. I'm telling you, I don't do it without a healing tool. I did it before. And what happened was I fired and wired and I intellectualized it and then it got worse. No. I sat with it. I used my gift of awareness, took some notes, used OMG or Success or FST. And I could see how I was pinging, going, oh, going into doubt. Oh, that's a sign. Gotta go heal up doubt. Then I come back into the center of alignment. But without the tools, you're just going to make yourself worse. You will rise, but you'll be more wear and tear. Okay. So that's where she's at. She's been doing some healing, and like she said, that she's been purging, and that's where she's at. So the transitional period is something you're constantly in because we're at a planetary level of this. But at the same time, you have integration points and different transition states for each little thing. But it's you and your gift of awareness to say, wait a minute, do I want to go there? I mean, I so could have ran in detail, like what you said. If you keep responding to it, it's going to keep getting, like, I would have people in my life that would just constantly kick at me, and I would keep responding until I healed it out, and all of a sudden they couldn't, I wasn't playing. I was gonna win. We just went down into the box. I didn't give it my attention. That means I could be sitting here not giving it my attention, but it's annoying me. So I'm giving it attention unintentionally. But I pulled in my energy, didn't pull it in close. I pulled it into my aura where there's healthy boundary. And I just held that space and chose to let my sensory system focus on you and the job that I'm doing, which means I moved more to my higher self, more into my heart, brain, coherence, to allow this energy to rise. Okay. Now, the addiction, we are addicted to everything. How we can keep recreating codes. These addictions are not about drugs, alcohol, sex, food. It's about your beliefs, your values, your emotions. I have to respond this way. I have to feel this way. This is my identification. It's like, oh my God, or I have to make sure. And if you allow yourself to be taught on a soul level that you have to give up you and attach to whoever it is that wants you to behave and give them attention, then you're going to sometimes be trained that the only way that you can be happy is if somebody else makes you happy. And that you have to sacrifice yourself to get that. Or you believe that the only way that this depression gets to me, the only way to be happy is, and again, you're being owned. Depression is an addiction. Your body becomes addicted too. So like she says, and there is a sort of withdrawal period from the programs because your body is addicted to substances that were being released from the program. Yes, and that's part of why in your aura you have the morphogenic field, which is the habit field. And your habits, your soul is saying, can you heal it now? But your inner world creates your outer world. And it'll come back through with pesticule. Now, if you reach in that vending machine and keep grabbing the same thing, even though you don't want it, then you're not waking up. But you need to wake up and go, wait a minute, I'm going to choose again. Okay? But it will keep showing itself. And the more that you go, oh my God, this is my emotion. And you are addicted to that emotion called your identity. It's part of your personality. And you have to get a fix. That means you're going to have to create something worse to get your fix. And you're going to keep doing this again and again and again until you wake up and say, no, I am not that. I stop identifying as that. So you have to change your personality. Like you said, once you start to release clinical peptides, you start to release that personality, that addiction. You've never been here before, so you have to kind of just work with your spirit and your heart and let what you already know come to life, and it'll start to unfold better than you could create it. And like she says, as this process happens, you're going to get pulled back in. So you find yourself making up reasons to be angry or to feel the old way. That's also a part you have to wake up to going, oh shit, look at me, keeping these excuses and reasonings. I feel that, but I forgot to let that go. So you have to look at those and become aware. So the process of losing something can feel very devastating. I would walk around feeling, oh no, the worst is good. And I noticed that for me, my passion story was I had repressed something. So around 3 years old, I repressed. I can hear my 3-year-old. I don't have to know what happens, but what she's gone through is she's lost something. And I'm looking for it. And then I'll be in the forever, used to be in the past, forever and a day is looking for it. And what is that feeling for you when you feel like you know you got to find it? You owned it. It was you. You can't find it anywhere. Anybody? Take time, write it out. Because that's what you've got to start with. Now I asked, when you feel like you've lost something and you're kind of scared, you're going into stress mode. Well, what I've been finding out is this seems to be part of the gallbladder. I asked them, is it the same in everybody? And it said yes. You're still looking for the $11 that you lost when you were 12. Ah. Tell me, how do you know that?
Every once in a while, that memory will pop up. That I had gotten $11. I don't know if it was for a birthday or what it was for, or if it was babies, whatever it was. But I lost it. Never found it.
What's it feel like to lose something?
It can be devastating.
Okay, yes. And I said, when you think about this, you feel helpless.
Mhm.
Okay, did everybody hear that? Helpless. What did we work on for you yesterday, young lady?
Helpless. Helplessness.
So if you're at that stage, R1S. Don't get cracky, though. Bring it up and do R1S. Anybody else that feels like they feel helpless when they are feeling that they lost something, it's not just the devastation, but you feel helpless. It's that sense of like you're free falling without a parachute. And you're looking for a way to recover it. And you can't. You know eventually you're gonna hit the damn ground. Okay, that's what you fear. Notice how the physiology, notice how the body, notice everything about it. And if you are going to do this, you go to right wrist, first position, and hold the thumb there soft, I1S. Now, if some of you are just in the beginning stages, okay, then you feel devastated. There's a part of you that don't want to believe a lot. It's a lot. It's not true. It's not true. Before you get to devastation, it's like, no. You don't want to believe that particular reality. Then you're going to go left wrist, second position, deep, L to D. It's a lie. I don't want to believe it. Now, if you can't recall anything, or you feel numb from it, tell me where you're at when it comes to, yes, thank you. Thank you so much for writing that comment down. Now, notice it's, I don't, it's not, I do not. You're not going to, if you don't want to, not with your will. It feels like it's partially hidden with control response. Ooh, good one. Now for you, Amanda, go to L2S because you feel like how you couldn't, you didn't know what to do with it. So it's kind of like you repressed it. Okay. So if anybody's at the stage where Amanda's at, then I would say left wrist, second position. The other people appreciate it too. They go for thank you. And Heather says, I feel lost. And that's what I was feeling. I had moved to there's a little panic, and then I started to feel lost. Where I kept looking, and lost was a big was really big. So L2S is for emotionally repressed. Okay, for L2S, emotionally repressed. But to feel lost, there's this. I can't move from here. I got to find it. I'm on this search. And it's a form of grief. It's a form of grief. And so Spirit is saying, is that for everybody? Anybody that wants to look at this, but for Heather directly, I'm going to say R1D. So that means you take your right hand, go down with your thumb, first position. You're pushing deep, not soft. Finger in the palm, create that C, safe, secure stability, and then jam like this. For feeling lost, if you are not in that state of loss, but feeling lost, then you go to small intestine, left wrist, first position, soft. LNS put it for lost, and see, so for, like I said, for Heather, people can understand that particular space. How about I don't know how it's going to happen? Good. Even though I believe it will, I don't want to do it alone. So knowing that you have to go back through to a very particular point and you know where you need to go. This is more about hopelessness. You can convince yourself you can overcome. You've had some experiences, you know. But the moment that it happens is that your territory was taken. Now, we lay claim to people, objects, things, and somebody comes along and takes it, destroys it, or they remove themselves. We men, especially men that I've been aware of, is they don't want to give up even if it's ended because they invested. Why? Because that's the identity. This is where it comes for any gender. That was part of my personality. I did not see it coming. And so the devastation along with it, and over time, becomes territory and hopelessness. So for you, I would say hold R1S. Okay, huh? Because those statements are all hooked together. Yes. They're all hooked together. So you can have individual and then this is group. Now, let me be quiet so y'all can work on your stuff. Please remember to measure. 10 is the worst. You have more than 10. But how do you know it? How do you feel it? If you can't do number at first, try color. But how do you know it? Is it there? Yeah, I would say yes, a 6, because you've been working on this and you've been doing really good. I'll be with that. Okay. Finally, you know, I was doing good. In the bathroom, and all of a sudden I felt this, I'm gonna find it. I gotta look for it. So I'm gonna give it. For me, I'm at the level of triple one right now. So I'm still doing the alert and alarm. Again, oh, sorry about that. So when you feel, we're talking about the loss and feeling vulnerable. Interesting. Eddie, with your process of losing somebody, have you ever had a malevolence energy in that? See, like, I have a very specific thing. I'm looking for this remarkable. But if you lost a person, the person lost you. This keeps coming up as malevolence. So there's a certain amount of malice energy there.
I'm not sure. I don't know. The only person I've ever really lost is with me losing someone.
Like,
I'm not sure about vice versa. It would be my dad or my dog. But my mom,
I lose this person, but they're violent, they're malevolent energy is like trying to. Because if as soon as I feel that, then it goes into outing. Now, can you feel any of those? Either one of those?
I'm sorry, I think the sound is messed up. I'm wearing headphones and I don't have help with my kids tonight. So, okay, what is it? I'm sorry. Can you repeat it?
No, that's totally okay. I forgot to put my earbuds in, so that was good.
Oh, the sound's way better now.
Sorry about that. No,
it's okay.
I forgot to put these in. I didn't want you to hear me pee, so I took them out.
Oh, okay.
Malevolent. When you think about losing something, you can't find it. It's misplaced. You look and you're like, well, I know I had it. It's part of who I am. But it comes with maybe a person, but there's something about malevolent, a very malice energy, violent energy. You know what I mean? So do you get
a violent energy within me, or a violent energy connected to someone, or someone else's violent energy?
Any of those. See, the thing is that
I used to be a violent person. Like, I'll say that. I used to fight people. Because my mom was that way and she modeled it for me. And my mom and my brother always fought. Like, it was always like that.
So can you feel that you didn't want to lose a fight, or that you felt you lost something and you can't let it happen, so you have to fight? Remember, the key word is it used to. So we're looking at roots.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of had like the energy of like, well, I don't give a fuck if I get my ass beat or not. If I'm standing up for myself, or if someone's messing with me, I don't care if I die. At least I'm dying because they, I'll die with knowing that I stood up for myself. Like, all right. I don't know.
So just a second. I'm just going to go in and ask a little further. So we're talking about losing something, whether person, object. You're losing face. You're losing the battle. When you start to feel like you're losing face, the battle or pride, or having to give up on your dream. Yeah, you just went there. So part of it is you go right straight to high beta. And that all of a sudden you have to give up on your expectations. So like, let's say, oh my God, I can't come to tribal again. Oh my God. Can you feel that wanting to hang on? Feeling like it's getting to be lost?
What do you mean wanting to hang on? I'm sorry if it's hard for me to concentrate. My kid is like ramming his head into my butt as I'm trying to like, my husband's not here. So I have three kids that are all over me right now.
Right. So you're lost on how to take care of your kids. You know how to, you know how to
Yeah,
do it,
I
but
guess
you're feeling.
I guess my territory was invaded too because Caleb wanted to pick up all these extra shifts, even though he didn't have to, which
Right.
made it to where I can't work and made it to where I'm doing everything by myself for
Now
a few
you
days,
know.
which is fine. I don't mind it. I'm
L1S.
capable of it.
L1S,
Okay.
L1S.
Okay.
I just want you to feel that vibration. Just feel the vibration. I got a thorn in my foot. Get out. Somebody's here wants the sensation that they want it. They want it. I gotta have it. It's mine. It's a strong sensation. I'm gonna say that's gallbladder. L2. Yeah. Like for with the emotionally repressed right now, even though I'm saying I've lost my remarkable, and I don't want to give up looking. There's a strange sensation in me that's not willing to give it up. And I have to bust through that. I think it is, what's the word when I don't know I have it? Well, first of all, you're at a 3. Turn your mic on and explain a little bit more detail for me.
Well, I was working on the issue and it was like, it's so ingrained in me that it's like I pay attention to the loss of not having it, and that will stop me from ever getting it.
Beautiful. Now that is a 3. That's exactly where you're supposed to be. I want you to switch over to L3D. I don't know why, except for, well, I do, but I'm gonna wait until you get through that process. Wait for new words to come up. Amy, you're strong forward. Because you don't really know any other way of being. Really tapping into your personality. You don't want to be. April Lynn, you're at a 3. Now, Heather, what we do here is that you measure and you feel like it's gone down, it's not the high, but you're not sure what the number is. You can say check, please, and you can tell me what you're holding, the spot you're holding. Then I can measure where you're at.
The spot you told me to hold. I'm still doing that one.
Yep. Okay. Is it left wrist, second position, soft? No, I can't. Do it.
It's the right hand.
Okay. Um, it's about for feeling lost, right?
Yeah.
All right, right wrist, first position deep. And could you feel how you knew it when you started? Was it high?
It was high and then it went down and it changed to something else that I'm getting.
Very, very good. Now I see it move to an 8. Now door 0, you won't really feel because it is you've been so exposed to this again and again and again that your benchmark has moved. So I asked, is there any place that she needs to go now? And they said yes. They want you to go to left wrist, second position, soft. Okay. And I want you to just, because you said that you can feel it's changed. Now there might be a slight level of unfairness as a key word for you in that. And if you can connect with any words that are around it, write those down so you start to learn yourself, okay? And just remeasure it and hold that. Left wrist, second position, soft, okay? You're doing really good. I'm proud of you. Keep going.
Okay.
So, yes. They said yes. The distractions are about like injustice and fairness. It is in a level of the feeling of the intensity of how you're distracted. Or is it what? What? You can't focus. There's a difference about you have to. They're still saying the same point. But why do you need to look? Why do you need to take care of something, depending on what kind of distraction? Important you pay attention to the words. As I'm holding my point, and I take myself to the what I've lost. I keep hearing, I want it, I want it, I want it. So just keep feeling. That's the benevolence, the danger. What do you think you're at, Thor? That's what I got. Good job. Good job. That's huge. Now I want you to check before you hook up. I want you to feel, you feel deficient, like with the loss, you felt deficient. Where do you feel now? You feel any of that there?
It was like I don't know how to explain it. It was just like I didn't have that and it felt icky. And then when you asked me, I kept holding it, but it felt like it was gone. That's why I asked. And who is it that you were talking to earlier? Because I was going to mention to her that remember when I told you that when I thought I was in a 0 and you're like, no, it's a 2 or 3 because I had chronic trauma. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Heather.
So yeah. So Heather, it's okay. You'll get there, girl. Just keep checking in with her so you know.
Yeah.
It felt like what was it? Do I feel lost now? It was
Deficient.
just an
Because
I don't know if I I mean, probably I would say more overwhelmed because it goes back to I got to do this all by myself.
Right. And that's something else, like anybody that does exercise or this and that, it's like, how bad do you want it? There's a party that's focused on, I want a partner. I feel like, again, there was a lot of between you and me where I wanted to do it with a partner, and I realized I had to learn many things on my own. And once I did, the partner then came in. And it was identifying that not just I want a partner, I don't want to do it alone, but it was how I was a kid and I was forced to do it alone.
Yeah, I've done everything myself alone, pretty much.
Right. And I had to let go of the resentment, the anger, the fear. The fear was the biggest one because I had to put a lot of stories of fear that I can't. What I learned in Bali is that I'm a resolver. Get in my way, I'm already going to figure it out. Got it done. Okay, next. And I had to see my growth. So that story doesn't lie true for me at all anymore. And so you've got a growth process. I don't know if you're able to see it. So you will be putting yourself in situations. Good
Yeah.
job, Heather. She identified with the word unfair. Good job. Okay, so I'm going to say hook up. But the idea, I'll give you one extra one while we're waiting. Because I have to leave in 30 minutes because I have an appointment. But is that I want you to, because there's a part of you that keeps chanting, I don't want to do it alone. I've got to feel it. Where is it? Is it inside? Okay. I don't want to do it alone. So then for you, I would start working on L2D in every situation. When it pops up, when you want to go shopping, go dancing, go do your work, or don't know what that was about, something about your voice. L2D it, okay? Now, when you can't get something to budge, notice that it becomes your safety blanket. Okay. Now for Deborah, I'm going to say, Deborah, you're actually at a 2 or 1.5 now. For Eddie, I want you to notice that this is your safety blanket. It has been your identity, your go-to. Anger chemical peptide in here. How vulnerable would you feel if that was gone?
I can't. Can you repeat what you said? For some reason, the sound is weird. It doesn't sound like it used to sound for some reason.
Is everybody else having problems with my sound?
It's just a little muffled.
You cut out for a second, yeah.
All right, let's see if we can. The feeling of anger is your safety blanket. You are so vulnerable, or depressed, or destroyed, that anger came to the rescue. Anger becomes your shield. Anger becomes your safety blanket. And when it happens, you don't want to feel that vulnerability again. And so everything gets on your nerves. And I'm going to tell you, I want you to start jumping down to R3D, right wrist, third position deep. So that you can feel what you don't want to feel. You step up. Feel how it's like, this is when you've gone to the end of your timeline, you ran with scissors, you're there. Now we have to get you back. And I asked, is it really anger? And they go, no, you're petrified. If you can answer the question. When you petrified about
Answer the question, what? You're like, the sound is really not good.
petrified. What are you scared of? Amy, can you say it?
Petrified. What are you scared of, Eddie?
Thanks. I guess being left or being hurt, like just being victimized.
Very good. Very good. You just said victim mindset. And that is what you're ready to do. Okay. As I go through any of this, I have to get myself out of victim mindset. Because it is the victim that has to go through the loss. And so that's why they chose R3D. Okay, so Lucia. Wow. You're 4. Your center was moved off about 8 years old. So this feels like does it feel like a 0 or a 1? But it's actually a 4. Looking for Lucia. Feels like 0. Okay. So the body is saying it's actually a 4. What I would tell you is that I'd start working with the triple warmer, R3S. I asked, is there anything particular? And it says blaming, the word blaming. But it still relates to feeling like, when you lose something, whether it's through death or through innocence. I feel like you lost your innocence. Do you understand? On that one. Yeah. Now, in this case, because it is the body, you may have to feel what the body's doing. And it could be just ache and pain, could be adrenals, could be, body parts, private part. But I think you're heading for looking at that devastation when it first happened. So that's a good thing that it's held in the body. Good job, Thor. Looking up, yeah. All right, Amy. You're hovering between a 0.5 and a 1. What point do I have? Okay, R1 is. Go to L2D. Just go to L2D because you had to believe the lies that you had. All the gaslighting, all the convincing that you have to be helpless. So they're happy. Wow. Wow. I just asked Spirit, I felt the question like, will I find my remarkable? It says I'm not answering that. I said, the remarkable, is it in the space where my camera was? Like, I'm not answering that. I think, what can you answer? And I said, frequency. I'm healing at a frequency level. The frequency they want me to heal is G sharp. It says, notice how with the experience I'm feeling awkward. I'm feeling nervous. And how I have this false sense of that it makes me false self-assurance having it. So I'm changing frequencies. Okay. Check please. Hey Amanda, you're like a 1. They still want me to have you. They want me to have you notice your story, but is the word intolerance? I can't tolerate. I don't want to feel the intolerance. How is that? The word intolerance for you? That's it. Some of you are at the point where this makes you, but if it's lost, you will feel alone. It's not true. Good job, Amanda. So I think that's jacked up the number just on that word. So pay attention to the number for the intolerance. So it looks like an 18. It looks like it jacked up. Yes, I will. So I'm going to be alone. So if you feel like if I can't find it, I can't have it, I can't be with it, it becomes the victim mindset of I, to the point where you're going to say, but it was mine. It was important to me, which the drama begins with that particular thing. And so now we turned it into two-way trauma because things pop in and out of existence, even with people that have death. But we make it into the I of the pain. Again, we want you to move into, I can own things, but they don't need to own me. Heather, you're doing really well. That 4, you got it down to a 2. I think you need to move to R1S, right wrist, first position soft. And what I want you to pay attention to is how it's territorial, how your area has been lost to people that are territorial. You just gave yourself a key word, Eddie. You said struggling. And it said, and grasping. So for you, I want you to go to R2D and say, no, I can't do this again. No, I can't do this again. So right wrist, second position. D. Oh no, I can't do this again. For Heather, right wrist, first position, soft, territory. Amy, you know where you're at? Yeah. Okay. I've got a few minutes before I have to go. Well, I promised an hour, but I always get more. Yeah, I think, Eddie, I think because you have kids, it's like the outside is on your nerves. It's part of the clue. With kids, with me, for me, my opinion, is that I lost my identity. I lost my ability. The biggest thing was my identity. I became my kids. And in reality, you are supposed to be there for your kids, not lose who you are. And what you don't want to go through again, it's same thing that you're constantly going through. It's stress. I know you want to get past this. I said, are you ready to feel something? You said, no, because you have convinced yourself with beliefs, what's important to you, the values, that you have to be a very specific mama. And that you changed who you were into something better, but the root. I'm just going to tell you, there's some lies there. Lies that you've convinced yourself. It's like when you go into and you think, hold on. The key word is when you go there. So we're looking for the there. You don't want to experience this. You don't want to experience that. So the lie is when you start to go already to the end of your timeline and you are living that perpetual hell. And the worst case happens. All I can say is you have to look at it. The lie. What do you keep telling yourself? What is the lie? What have you run through the timeline? That it's bad. When in fact, good night, honey. Just remember to witness if you've grown and changed. Yes, you've actually gone. Heather, as you measure and you witness, I want you to understand that you are not the same person you were when you came in. And you need to know that you just healed yourself. You changed your thoughts, you changed your emotions, you even changed the chemistry in your body. Now you got to want to maintain it. You got to want to go, oh, I feel better. You have to start telling yourself, because your brain needs you to give it new information. Oh, I feel better. So that when you're in your pits of your health, and the only thing you have is EFT, which works great. Do a couple rounds. OMG. Stand there if you have to. Measure the thoughts. But when your brain starts to know how to do the next best guess, it's going to have better choices instead of the old pattern. Okay?
Okay.
Did you feel any better?
Yeah, I feel lighter.
Good, good. So that's what you got to notice. Sometimes when you first start, you need to write it down. This did happen because the ego will try to put you back to sleep and say, oh, maybe it didn't happen. So you have to keep witnessing for your brain. And I hope you enjoyed your first time here. And, you know, hope you stay with us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, everybody, I got to get going because I got a client. Just remember, finish up. And if you can't finish up, grab your golden white light, connect it to your heart, extend it out to the issue that you're working on. Ask it, do you accept this? If it says yes, great. But, leave the cord there. If it says no, that's just telling you that there's more to the story. Great, leave it there. And then when you come back into alignment with it, you will be where you left off, not having to start over again. Question, go ahead.
I'm gonna cheat real quick. When you do the repulsion compatibility with the different breaths, why
Yeah.
the different breaths?
That's a whole class. You're taking it out,
Okay.
reintroducing it, bringing it back, telling the brain that it doesn't have to be the way it's taught.
Okay, can I just tell them it gets them to focus on what they're working on?
The body, you
Close
give
enough.
it direction. It's giving it direction.
Right, and concentration, because otherwise they're just doing it randomly. It's working awesome, by the way. Haven't seen the inmates in 2 weeks, but I will hopefully Wednesday. And so I'll give you guys an update.
Okay. Sounds
Thank
good,
you. I
honey.
love you.
I love you too, honey.
Bye.
Oh, hey, I think you won something. From the. I'll let y'all know. Somebody won something. I know. I think it was you.
Yeah, she did.
Okay. All right. We'll talk to you later. And Lucia, you did see it's a 2. So just hopefully you did. Oh, she's gone. She left. Okay. You know they gotta go. She's
Don't
40
waste it, paste it.
It's off to evolve.
Heal instead of deal.
You can
April.
heal that.
When in doubt,
Eric.
grab a tool and heal it out.
And thank you, Spirit.
And don't waste it, paste it.
Spirit.
Exactly. Bye.